Is Lando Norris good enough for F1? Lando Norris is one of the most prospective drivers on the grid and one of the brightest shining stars out there. The youngster has been part of McLaren since 2019, and although he is yet to achieve his maiden win, Norris has scored a pole position in a season dominated by Hamilton and Verstappen, which was in 2021. With how Ricciardo's been performing in McLaren, Norris has been even more praised for the way he has been able to adapt to the MCL36, which was the 2022 edition for McLaren's F1 car. Still, there are some questions that are being asked whenever we are speaking about young and potential stars, and that is, can they win a championship? Are we looking at the next Vettel, Verstappen or Hamilton in the sport? Stick around with us to find out more. First, we do need to talk about Norris's entrance into the sport and say that although he is a talented driver, he didn't struggle much to enter an F1 seat. His dad is a millionaire and has bought Norris's place in McLaren, yet the youngster has shown that he is a brilliant driver, and although arrogant on some occasions, he is not like Latifi or Stroll, who have disappointed in every segment so far. His first stint was in karting, winning the Karting World Championship in 2014, becoming the youngest one to do it at just 15 years of age. Norris has ventured a lot in the different Formula Series, winning the Formula Renault Series and F3 European Championship, proving that although he comes from a rich family, he indeed possesses the talent for driving. Norris started the last race in 2017 in F2, making his debut in the sport very unique. However, 2018 was his first full season in F2, competing alongside George Russell, who won the championship, and Alex Albon. The three of them were all promoted to F1 the very next season. Unfortunately for Russell, but luckily for Norris, the McLaren driver showed that with money you can buy yourself a better seat in F1, although Russell won the F2 championship and was doomed to drive for Williams for 3 seasons before his contract with Mercedes. Norris showed that he has something special in him when he outqualified his teammate Carlos Sainz in his first year in McLaren in 11 out of the 21 races on Saturday. Nevertheless, Norris ended up with just over half as many points in the championship, showing one massive flaw in his rookie season: delivering when it matters the most. If you compare his rookie season with the one that Hamilton had, it's nothing too chevy, but it showed lots of potential, and it truly propelled Norris as one of the highest prospects on the grid. Still, we know that McLaren were struggling a lot that year with performance, and they were nowhere near the 2007 year when Hamilton and Alonso were fighting with Raikkonen for the championship. The amazing first season has earned Lando his Rookie of the Year award. What's more impressive about Norris is that he's been able to keep decent performance and pace throughout his career. There have been some drivers that, although had a decent rookie season, have fallen off throughout the season and thus far lost their seat. That prime example can be shown with Antonio Giovinazzi, and even with Albon, who, although was put in the Red Bull seat, was forced to sit out the whole season in 2021 and is now currently racing for Williams. Why is Norris different than the other drivers? Well, for starters, he is a charismatic and joking individual. We remember that after the 2018 Chinese GP crash, he posted a meme on his profile about his Formula going into space after crashing with Fiat. Not just that, we've seen Norris literally falling in tears after Ricciardo cracked a joke when Hamilton was giving an interview, which was something that made us smile. 2020 was the year when Norris earned his first podium, finishing P3 in Australia. Although this was his only podium, Norris showed continuous pace and improvement and managed to finish in the top 10 in his second year at McLaren. Not just that, he and Sainz managed to propel McLaren to P3 in the Constructors' Championship, ahead of Ferrari, Renault and Racing Point. From 2021, Norris was given a new teammate, one that was supposed to even surpass him due to the bigger knowledge in the sport and due to the fact that, well, it's Ricciardo we're talking about. Nobody would think that he would fall off that hard to fight for scrap points, right? Nevertheless, Norris and Ricciardo completed the first 1-2 finish of McLaren after a long time, and Ricciardo became the first driver to win a race for McLaren after 10 years break. It was a close chance for Norris to earn his maiden win, but the team didn't want to take away that from Ricciardo, since he was already having a very dull and disappointing season. In 2021, Norris was truly blistering. He finished 4 times on the podium and didn't manage to score points at just 2 events, finishing 6th in the championship and still falling behind Ferrari in the Constructors' Championship, mostly due to Daniel's bad performance. What's even more impressive about Norris is the fact that he's been able to literally destroy Ricciardo in Saturday qualifying, setting one of the biggest gaps between teammates with plus 0.640 on average. The most heartbreaking race that season was Sochi, when with 5 laps remaining, Norris thought that the rain won't be that hard, and with having the P1 position in the race, he thought he could win it on the hard compound tyres. This, however, turned out to be wrong, and Norris got robbed of the win by the weather. So we've seen that Norris does have the potential to win races, but what does he lack in his driving resume? First, he is a bit arrogant, and what other drivers managed to do in Sochi when it comes to pitting for wet compound tyres, not allowing the situation they are in to overwhelm them, shows how good of an attribute that is to possess. When Norris was asked to pit, he refused and said, "Leave me alone." We've seen how that turned out. Yes, he was P1, but with rain enhancing more and more, it was only natural for him to think thoroughly and listen to his team, as everybody pitted for wet tyres when they sensed the rain. After all, that's what gave Verstappen his P2 race finish after he was cruising in P7 with a new engine, starting from the back. Norris did embrace his call, saying, "I guess we made a call to stay out. We stand by that call, but it was the wrong one at the end of the day. I made a decision just as much as the team. In fact, it was more they thought I should box and I decided to stay out. So my decision, I thought it was the way to go." However, Norris did say that even with that blunder, the team is performing perfectly nice, and the results he is scoring are far away from his belief. "I didn't sign up to be with McLaren for this year I'm going to be winning races. That was far from my belief. I still knew it would take a good few years. 2024-25 will be the first time when there should be less and less excuses in a way to go. Why aren't we in a position we should be in?" finished Norris. In 2022, McLaren's car is far away from challenging the top dogs, and we've seen that the MCL 36 has regressed a lot. Norris did say that the car is currently overperforming, and from what we are seeing, they are fighting Alpine for the P4 spot, and that is not a place that the team had as a goal prior to the season starting. Even with that, Norris was able to score a podium in Italy and finish on multiple occasions in the top 6 drivers, ahead of both Alpine drivers. After all, he is the sole reason why McLaren is so close to the fight with Alpine for P4, given the fact that Alonso and Ocon are constantly ahead of Ricciardo and constantly in the points finish. Therefore, although Norris lacks his first career win and McLaren is far away from a championship car, we do believe that Norris has what it takes to be a world champion. He is selfish enough to fight for what's his, and he is a fierce fighter on track, as we've seen with his duels with Perez in 2021 and with Alpine in 2022. To be a champion, you need to be in a championship-winning car first, which is something McLaren is due to accomplish in recent years. If they do that, then they can surely rely on Norris's abilities and personality to win a championship for the team. The first one after 2008. What do you think about Lando Norris? Do you think that he's good enough to win a championship with McLaren? Let us know in the comments below.